Trump election.
Oh.
So, anyways, excuse me, I had to bring that in. But I officially want to welcome you to the school. And we started talking and da 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 da. She tells she's from Florida. And then I got my lunch, and she's to this day she tells me I had a whole big bowl of spaghetti with a half a loaf of bread.
With a whole plate, a whole spaghetti,
Okay.
a whole loaf of bread, and a whole thing of orange juice. And he gulped it down, and wolfed it down in 10 minutes.
And I was eating, and you see, but I had this thing. I was a senior, and I figured I should, I gotta get married. So I was looking for a woman. I was looking for a bride. Sort of. But but listen.
Sounds so good, does it?
No, I had some strict qualifications.
Goldie, it is not too late to reconsider.
I had some strict qualifications. My first qualification is I wanted a pianist. I figured, hey, I'm going to need a pianist. So if you can have a wife and a pianist at the same time, you're really lucky. Because it was hard. You had to go look for pianists to accompany you. You had to pay money. It was a pain in the neck. So the first question I always asked a girl before I talked to her, I said, do you play piano? And they know, she said, no, that was the end of it. So I said, I said, do you play piano? She said, yes, I do. Oh, wow, okay. And then, so I said, okay, we can go further. And then she said she had to go to a bookstore. There's a bookstore in New York in those days called Bloch's. It's all gone. So I said, I'll take you there. She said, don't you have class? I said, yeah, so what? I said, I got to tell you, I've been out of class more than I've been in class. And I'll be happy to take you down there. Okay, so I took her down there. And I made a date with her for the day after Yom Kippur, which was Sunday. But I didn't have a penny in my pocket. Literally not a cent. So where do you take a girl? I took her to the museum. Free. The Metropolitan Museum. And she thinks I'm cultured. It's really good. I literally did not have a penny in my pocket. Not a penny. So, we go out and go to the museum. And what do you do afterwards? Oh, take you home? I don't know what to do. And we go by and we see a movie. There was a movie by Chopin. I forgot what, Forever or something, I don't know. So I thought, I'd love to see that movie. She said, oh, I would too. I said, do you have any money? I said, do you have any money? She said, yeah. She always took a couple bucks in case
$1 I has $1 in my pocket.
I those days it cost like 50 cents to go to a movie. So, hey, great. Okay. I said, I'll pay you back. Someday. Anyway, so we went to the movie, and then the first hint that I was not for her happened after the movie and took her home. It was like 12 o'clock at night. I opened the door of the car and made her walk to the door of her house where she was living, a half a block in Brooklyn, and I was just sitting in the car. I figured, bye, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Now, I'm a Southern belle, and I've been treated
Right. She's
very
a Southern
royally.
belle, but I'm from Connecticut, from New York. I came from the yeshiva. I didn't know such things. I didn't know you're supposed to walk girls to the door. I didn't know any of that stuff. Okay, so she was, I didn't know, the next day she came in to class, and I thought she was kind of cool. Okay, so I walk downstairs, we're walking together, I take her hand, and she's like shuddering, taking my hand, because she was really there to meet a rabbi. She was really at the seminary to meet a rabbinical student. That's why she was really there. She was going ostensibly to get a master's degree in music education, which was nonsense. I mean, it was totally nonsense. I mean, matter of fact, one of the rabbis who sat in on her interview said that after she left, they all had a discussion. They said she'd be married to a rabbi within 6 months. I fooled them. Anyways, but it gets better. So we're walking in the park, the seminary is, and she asks me a question. From class. So I explained it. She said, I don't, ask me again, explain it again. I explained it again. Then the third time. And then I came out with this, I was really trying to make myself
ingratiated.
With us. I said, how could you be so damn stupid?
Oh my God.
I said,
how you won her over.
I said, how can you be so damn stupid? It's so simple. Any idiot can understand it.
You didn't say that.
You did.
At that time, I didn't know she graduated valedictorian from her high school class. She graduated college magna cum laude. She could have been summa. I mean, I didn't know from those things. I didn't know nothing. I just said, God, could be so stupid. And she looked at me. No one ever talked to her that way. Never, ever. And I was, but then I took her to my voice lesson.
You're still
So she has a lesson. So she has a letter that she sent to her mother.
Yeah.
She said, I can never go for this guy. He's rude.
Bad
He yells.
Ill-tempered.
He's ill-tempered. He has no patience. I don't know where he came from. He said, I went to his voice lesson. I could fall in love with his voice. And from then on,
I was hooked.
but there's another story. And then about 2 weeks later, we got engaged in a month, by the way. And 2 weeks later, I asked her, I had a piece of music that I was working on. I said, come on, let's play this piece for me, to come. She looks at it, she says, I can't play that. I said, what do you mean you can't play that? You told me you play piano. She said, I didn't tell you how well I play it. Uh-oh. I said, why did you tell me that a couple weeks ago? Anyways, and then there was one other thing. She once told me, never come into a room when I'm practicing my violin. Oh, she said, I'm a violinist. I said, I don't need a violinist. I need a pianist. So when you tell me not to come into your room when she's practicing, it tells me right away, don't ever tell me that, because you probably can't play violin either. Because why would you tell me not to come into the room when you're practicing? So at the seminary, they had an auditorium, I don't know, downstairs. Now it's the basement, whatever it is. And I knew that place inside. I knew how to get from the back, and she was practicing in there. So I snuck around the back somehow. I was a devious little fellow. And I snuck around the back, and she was practicing. And it was the most god-awful thing I ever heard in my life. I never heard anything so bad. She was practicing.
Trying to get the double stops in tune.
So I made my entrance. She said, what are you doing here? No, she didn't yell. I said, you told me you can't play piano. You know something else? You can't play violin either.
Isn't it a wonder how we got
Wasn't I
together?
right?
Yes, I really do.
But anyways, with these little stories,
What we'd like to know how you won her over.
she liked my singing. Which I thought at that time was, and I remember when she came to my lesson, she was just like, okay. I mean, it wasn't so good. I didn't think so anyways. But that's how, but then 2 weeks after that, we were engaged. Now go figure. And here it's 55 years later, and you're all here. And I did everything in my power, dumbly and stupidly, to finish this thing off. Again, like Mr. Trump, you think he did everything stupid? He was winning. So I won Goldie. I actually won. And with 55 years, and they've been blessed years. Oh, we've had our ups and downs. Everybody does. And living with me, we have lots of ups and downs. But I think up in that tribunal, when they were discussing us, I think some got up and said, look, we got to give him to her. Why? There's not a woman in this world who could live with him besides her. So I think that's what happened. And because it's true. I think in the history of mankind, I don't think there's another person that could have endured me. Okay. Now you know how we then, and then she was a Southern Belle. We got engaged and her parents never even met me. Can you imagine what that was like? She was writing letters to them, and she had a whole bunch of relatives in New York, and I had to have an audition for every one of them. Every week we're going to another, and they passed judgment. Some liked me, some couldn't stand me, some thought I was a bore, some thought I was and then they would write to her mother, and her mother said, don't do anything without us seeing him, do we? Whatever. But I don't know why. She was the first time in her life she ever did something, whatever.
Oh, well, I saw his beautiful good heart. He's a very tender heart. He's a much ball inside.
All right. We're going to have a little program for you today. Very little.
Is Goldie going to speak about you now?
Yeah, we want to hear Goldie's side of this.
Okay, get better.
Oh, well.
Now you have to go up there now.
It really is true in that I really didn't like him in the beginning. I was determined not to ever marry anybody who had who was ill patience, no patience. But Jerry was fun, and we shared music, and we shared religion, and we shared the same values of life. And I knew that was the most important thing. And then he was a mushbones. He was a loving, very loving,
Oh, God, let's
tender
go.
person. he is, and that has gotten us through.
Who are you
all
talking
our
about
years.
now?
I remember within the first or second week the Israeli Philharmonic was in New York, and I had tickets. And I already asked the girl, but I forgot.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
And then I said to
This is a
Goldie,
really good
I said,
beginning here.
I said, the Israel Philharmonic is in town. I have tickets. Would you like to go? I give you 30 seconds to make up your mind.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to encourage the relationship because I wasn't
But
sure
she said,
what he was.
so she said, yeah, I want to go because she wanted to hear the Israel Philharmonic.
That's right. That's okay, we'll go.
So anyway, but then I had a girl I was really after for years and years, and I stood her up. I didn't know. It was.
Somebody meant to be. Meant to be. But Jerry did beautiful little thoughtful things. Like every Shabbos on Friday, he'd give me these 2 little rolls for Shabbos. So he was always made sure that there was.
Okay, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, but he's a very loving man. And yeah, I remember someone said, "What's marriage like?" And so you say, "Would you rather be a merry-go-round, go round, 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 never go anywhere, or would you rather be a roller coaster that goes up and down and you're making progress?" So I say that's how our marriage has been, like a roller coaster. We make progress, and the beautiful thing is today, I think we appreciate each other more than ever possible. I mean, the love is tremendous now. It's great.
Did he ever say
I'm going to sing a song
Did he
now.
ever give you back the doll?
No, they gave me back much more.
Goldie
so-
doesn't know this. I'm going to sing this to her. Now, this is
Oh.
in the late 40s. I think it was late 40s. There was a movie called The Great Caruso. You have to be real old to remember that. It's called The Great Caruso. And that was most